Go!
And Richard Phelps, the umpire, will be hoping he won't be needing his flags in an eights race like this. You would hope those two coxes will do a good job of keeping their crews apart as we see them getting off the start. It is the A crew who are on the right of our pitch. The B crew we're looking at here with the white T-shirts underneath, again to make it a little bit easier for us to spot them. And they're getting away. I'm sure they'll want to get away fast to try and stay in the race, try and worry that A crew.
Well, absolute focus on the face of Jade Colton sitting there at stroke of Emily Mears' B crew. These are no slouches. They won intermediate eights at the British Universities Championships. They were third at Ratzeburg, very close to the German under-23 crew. So no slouches. And they also took CUBC, the women's crew from Cambridge, by 1 1/4 lengths yesterday. So absolutely no slouches to be here, and they will want to rattle their A crew as much as they possibly can.
They certainly will, as we see Jemima Furness in the stroke seat there. Still that determination on all those faces behind the sunglasses, just looking straight in front of them and saying, can we edge away? Can we show our B crew that we've got just that little bit more? And it's just tiny, small margins. It's just the inch of stroke. So hard for us to see from here what the difference is, because both these crews are well drilled. Both these crews are moving well. But it's just a tiny bit of application as we see the blades. I mean, they're moving really well. This is the B crew.
I mean, those blades could do with a lick of paint, I've got to say, but they look very nice, very nicely in timed, and perhaps it's not dressage here, it's much more about the boat speed that you get out of them. And again, that determination, real focus from both sets of Brookes, actually. And we know that at Brookes, they're constantly training side by sides in eights. It's a huge rivalry which drives that program, isn't it?
And it would be lovely to see the blades of this A crew and just see they're a little bit more recently painted. Are they moving any better? I mean, you see them just coming down to the water nicely, getting locked in. And the athletes just able to apply the force with efficiency. It still looks like it's a little bit of rocking around at the finish, but very little, very little. The athletes just moving so well together and just evenly distributing the weight, evenly distributing the force through the stroke to get the maximum efficiency. And all we can say is that the A crew are just edging a tiny little bit per stroke.
Beautifully described, Greg. Yeah, absolutely right. The A crew, I think, have got the edge, and they now know that they've got the edge. They probably know from all the stats and all the rivalry and training they've got that. You can see the B crew having another go at an attack there. You can see a little bit punchier stroke as they try to kind of fight back. This is their last chance, really, I think, to kind of make a move that could upset this race. The natural order of things should be the A against the B, but can the B crew do something special here? That's what they're going to be asking themselves as Emily Mears, 20 years old, sitting in the cox's seat of Oxford Brookes B crew, urges the young women in the white T-shirts, urges them on.
She will be urging them on. We can see she'll be collecting data. There's wires attached to those riggers, which are actually the telemetry, which give information on how hard each athlete is pulling and what arc they're rowing through. Now, I don't know if she'll be getting it in real time today in the race, but they will pick up the information to help them know exactly how evenly they distribute that force. You want to apply your maximum force halfway through the stroke when the oar is at 90 degrees to the boat, a little bit like a golfer hitting a ball. Maximum speed and strength is at the bottom of the arc, and then the rest of the stroke is a follow through to keep that whip going that they've got on the oar, just like a golf club, keep that whip going through to the end of the stroke. And that data will be collected, so the coaches will be able to analyse it, put the best crews together. And as it is, the B crew are doing a good job in terms of the way they're applying their force and staying with the A crew.
The art and science of rowing, and for my money, the B crew is doing really well here, actually. I think they have forced the A crew to pick things up a little bit, to respond to a move. They was coming back through very fluidly, as Greg was describing that. I love the fact, you know, you combine the data with the artistry, the blending of how athletes move, which has to be naturalistic, fluid. We're looking for freedom of movement here. So here we have Oxford Brookes A crew, where they should be ahead of the B crew, but the B crew have really taken it to them through the first part of this course. We're now well into the third quarter of the track here at Henley, 2,112 metres as we pass the Remnant Club, looking down from above. Perfect rowing conditions for Brookes versus Brookes.
Well, it shows something about the quality of the system at Oxford Brookes. This crew we're looking at now won Championship 8 at the Bucks Championships. They won at Ratzeburg, they won in Ghent international regattas. and they're moving so well, and the B crew are still able to keep up with them. Shows the quality of the system.
Yeah, look, I'm really pleased to see that the A crew are being pushed. I think we all kind of love to fight for the underdog, and clearly the B crew is the underdog here. But you can see on those faces, these are not faces that are relaxed and taking for granted the victory. The margin is sufficient to keep the A crew under pressure, and that's what we want to see. You don't want to have the crew the next day racing a crew that's not really been tested like this. So well done the Brookes system and the Brookes B crew for doing just that.
And I think we all know what it's like, Matt, to be in an 8 with another 8 that you can't quite shake off. And any cruise like that, you're still right in the thick of it. You can't afford to give anything up at this point. Every stroke has to matter. You've got to hang on to it, putting that blade in at that measured distance out in front. We tended to go for about 57 degrees, holding it through the 36 degrees to the finish, and making sure every degree has the maximum power applied to it.
So Jade Colton, 23 at stroke, Freya Williamson, 23 at 7. At 6, it's Sheeran Myers, 5, Ariana Ford, 4, Jenny Bates, 3, Maisie Gordon, 2, Phoebe Fletcher, and furthest from us in the bow seat, Lucina Schaefer. That's the B crew, coxed by Emily Mears from Oxford Brookes University. Really credible performance for them. I think the coaches will be looking at who in the boat they think is moving that boat, and every one of them will want a seat in the A crew, and that's the rivalry, that's the competition that drives excellence.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think how you can create healthy competition within your squad so that the athletes are pushing each other, they're going to the next level, and at the same time they're yet still supporting each other, as we take a look here now at the A crew.
Yeah, so that is the back of Olivia White. In front of her is McKenna Simpson, then Jasmine Bowers, Brenna Randall, Anna Bloomer, Grace Richards, Martha Birtles, Jemima Furness, and you can see the face now of Sophia Bernal in the Cox's Street seat with a white cap as they come to the final few strokes, passing the enclosures. Applause you can see all the way along the spectators, and in the grandstand there is Oxford Brookes University A crew sitting just ahead of their B crew rivals, having been pushed quite hard through the middle of the course, crossed the line first, just over a length ahead of Oxford Brookes University B.